Welcome. Let's take another look at our book from yesterday, An Angel is Born, a story of love, loss and hope. So we read the book yesterday, and now let's just go back to this chapter when Brennan and his family were at the celestial planning stages and planning this life and planning this event and defining how these souls and spirits would achieve their life mission, or what their life mission was actually going to be. And we said we'd start with some of the quotes today, so let's just read this one that prefaces this chapter. I've known rivers ancient as the world and older than the flow of human blood in human veins. My soul has grown deep like the rivers. I bathed in the Euphrates when dawns were young. I built my hut near the Congo and it lulled me to sleep. I looked upon the Nile and raised the pyramids above it. I heard the singing of the Mississippi when Abe Lincoln went down to New Orleans, and I've seen its muddy bosom turn all golden in the sunsets. I've known rivers, ancient, dusky rivers. My soul has grown deep like the rivers. Langston Hughes. So let's read this chapter again. Brennan loved life, whether he experienced it as an angel in the realms of spirit or with a human heart in the heavy fabric of physicality. He had lived many lives on earth, indeed too many to count. He had come as tribesmen to the plains of Africa, as travelling merchants in the ancient East, as silent monks and as beautiful women, as lusty barbarians, as slaves, as slave keepers, as lepers, as kings, as beggars, as women of the night. The lives were intense or mundane, woeful and brief, or full of years, steeped in joy and adventure depending upon the birth setting and the choices made thereafter. He had run the gamut and exhausted the characters. In fact, he had suffered and savoured so many lives that he had fulfilled his mission in the galaxy wherein Earth roams. He had felt every anguish and pain and fury until at last he remembered the love from which his soul was spun. Now he comes only on cameo appearances to lend assistance to those he has loved in other times, in other realms, in other roles. And now when he comes to earth, he does not fully lose the memory of his angelhood. Wasn't it only yesterday in the realm of angels when he and his noble friends gathered together in the celestial chamber of planning? The very friends who now sit in the hospital room as the mother and father and brother of the baby Brennan. Brennan's eternal name is difficult to say within the limitations of matter, for its consonants are far more exquisite than human tongues can mimic, its vowels greater than mere connecting sounds. They are heard as music, felt as emotion, and seen as a dancing spectrum of light. Each name sets its own mood, sings its song in its own distinctive colour, but for now we will call him Brennan for the sake of convenience and pretend we see the lights. You still see the lights? Me too. On that day in the realm of angels, Brennan and his friends assembled with the great casting council for the purpose of planning new experiences for learning in the physical. There was much laughter and merriment, for angels remember their divine origins and know that life on earth is temporary, a mere slither of eternity. They leap into their earthly experiences with great enthusiasm, for they know life is too important to take seriously. They will fall prey to seriousness soon enough when they are in the flesh, for matter draws a curtain between the worlds. If humans remembered, they would only wish to return home. Brennan's friends and the council pondered an assignment, which is a most difficult one, the lesson of losing a child, for that is something humans take very seriously. There is a story on earth of a great master who lived many hundreds of years ago in Tibet. It happened that the master's son died, and the great teacher was stricken with grief, overcome with the burden of it. Perplexed, his students said to him, "Master, you say this life is but an illusion. I do not understand, then, why you grieve so terribly." With brimming eyes, sad and deep, the teacher replied, "So it is. Life on earth is an illusion, but the death of a child is the greatest illusion of them all." Amidst merriment and camaraderie in their spirit bodies, Brennan's friends felt no burden or heaviness. "I'll be the dad," one of them said, and another replied, "Well, then I'll be the mother." Another chimed in and said, "Brennan, your lessons are finished. Why don't you come with us? You can be the baby. I'll go first and be your brother." Brennan smiled and said in mock dismay, as if he were asked to leave a picnic, "Do I have to?" But then he laughed in the same vein, for he loved his friends much, and he said, "I'll come if I do not have to stay too long. I'll come just for breakfast. Put on the coffee, warm the sweet rolls. We'll visit while the dew glistens like diamonds on the grass, before the crisp of morning softens to warm, while the world is quiet and we still remember our dream." So I've heard it called many things, the celestial planning chamber, celestial chamber of planning. But it is where we sit and agree to our life's experiences, the lessons we're going to learn, the karma we're going to dish out and have dished out to us, and grief and loss, these souls that pass. Once upon a time, we all knew exactly why, when, how, what, and we've just forgotten. So that's the comfort I take into these times of grief. So shall we just go through Brennan's little chapter here and read his little quotes? And that might be enough for today. "The divine spark is within us all, and when we are conscious of it, we touch the eternal." Sigurd Olsen. "The blue of heaven is larger than the clouds." Elizabeth Barrett Browning. Oh, so this is about the little cleft that everyone has on their little mouth here. "It is said, and it is true, that just before we are born, a cavern angel holds his finger to our mouths and whispers, 'Hush, don't tell what you know.' That is why we have a cleft on our upper lips and remember nothing of where we came from." Roderick McLeish. I like that one, Roderick. So, what have we got on this page? "Listen, perhaps you catch a hint of an ancient state not quite forgotten, dim, perhaps, and yet not altogether unfamiliar, like a song whose name is long forgotten, and the circumstances in which you heard completely unremembered. Not the whole song has stayed with you, but just a little wisp of melody, attached not to a person or a place or anything particular. But you remember from just this little part how lovely was the song, how wonderful the setting where you heard it, and how you loved those who were there and listened with you." A Course in Miracles. I'm just going to leave that with you for today. One day out of darkness they shall meet and read life's meaning in each other's eyes. Susan Mark Spalding. So yes, everyone comes into our life for a reason, a season, a lifetime. And we've all agreed these experiences. We've all agreed who would come when they come, leave when they leave, the things they would experience, the choices they would make. And as I deal with my grief and the angels that are no longer with us, I'm working to take comfort that this is all part of a bigger, higher plan that I consented to. I consented to live the life I choose to live. Thank you, Brennan, for choosing to live your life, and for all the other souls and angels that had completed their life's mission and agreed to come back for just a short time. I thank you and I honour you for choosing to help those of us that have yet to achieve our soul's contract and life mission. Amen. God bless you, babies, and may you rest in eternal joy and peace.